Welcome everybody to Live Sail Die's coverage of, I guess we could say, the coverage of day 9, but it's really looking ahead to day 10 of the Olympics at Tokyo on the sailing course, brought to you by PredictWind and B&G. Today I've got a special guest, Carl Williams. Welcome, Carl. 2008 Olympian in Beijing in the star class with Hamish Pepper.
Yeah, that's right. It was no more star class out there, but it's been good to see these other boats going for it.
Yeah, awesome. And of course, Brownie. Welcome again, Brownie. Today, just for everybody's view, we've got an action-packed day today on the medal race course, especially for the Kiwi fans. Pete and Blair at 4:30 this afternoon, they've got their medal race in the 49er, and just an hour later, we've got Josh Jr. aiming for a medal also in the Finn class. Either side of that, we've got the 49er FX medal race and the NACRA 17 medal race. And while that's all happening on one of the outer courses, we've got Paul Snow-Hansen and Dan Wilcox finishing off the 470 men's qualifying races, 2 races. So a busy day, obviously because of the no wind action yesterday. Brownie, how's the wind looking for today?
Just before we get on to today, I just want to say that PredictWind's actually been on it. Like yesterday, it was a very light sea breeze, what they predicted. Today, they're predicting 8 to 11 knots with gusts a little bit more, building during the afternoon. So by the time the 49er boys are racing, we should have a nice, it's not going to be strong, but a nice sea breeze. It should be pretty damn good racing today.
Awesome. Now, Carl, interested to get some of your views, you know, from being an Olympian in the Star, and we hear lots about, you know, oh, you've got to treat it like just another regatta. Is that the case in your experience?
My experience, not at all, mate. I think it's an interesting factor with the sport. You know, in the Star class in particular, we were qualifying for the event at World and the European Championships in 110 boat fleets. And then you come to the Olympics and you're racing against 16 boats, and even the course, you know, is a lot shorter, more races. So the Olympics is a very, very unique event, and you know, I think that was probably where we could have done a bit better in 2008, is gearing up more specifically for that type of racing. And I know that Brownie, we were talking before we shot about the 470s having sort of different playbooks for the different types of regattas, and you know, the Olympics, and then obviously there's the medal races as well, which are a pretty significant factor.
I guess the Finn class is a classic one. It's very similar to that. They do their Gold Cup with big fleets, you know, which obviously we've seen phenomenal performances from in the last 2 Gold Cups from Josh and Andy Maloney. But yeah, then they come to the Olympics, they're only racing in a 20-boat fleet. It is a very different style of racing, isn't it?
It is. It's a different style, and it emphasises a lot on your weaknesses, and you've really got to sort of capitalise on your strengths. And you know, I think that it's an important thing to take into account when you're preparing for a regatta, for an Olympic regatta.
When you're in Beijing, the 2008 games were the first time they used the medal race format. Was that you know, accepted by the fleet at the time as a good move going forward?
Yeah, I think so. I think there was certainly like a fair bit of pressure in that pre-selection period, and I know that, you know, there were, I guess the guys that missed out on that top 10 selection didn't like the format very well because they were finishing a little earlier. But you know, we certainly were all for it. It gives the guys that are sort of coming back with a stronger second half of the regatta to get back in the medal hunt. But you know, the double point format, it's sort of, you know, it may be, you know, it works towards taking a few risks and being able to make a move.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, it's great for the spectators, right? And you know, especially for the non-sailing public out there to finally understand, oh, this is pretty simple, rather than just watching race 12 of a 12-race series and not really figuring out what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think from a non-sailing point of view, they, you know, like say the 400 metre, race on the track is one race. You get to watch it. The winner wins the gold medal. And in sailing, we're going for sometimes up to 10 days or 2 weeks. And so having a little bit of definition, certainly because it's important that the sailing as a sport, as a spectator sport, and as exciting people, like the medal races and stuff coming up tonight. The guys have worked really hard to get into the position they're in, but there'll be a lot of people tuning in to watch these races tonight and see the guys in action.
Yeah, and I think sailing in general, with the commentators out there, they're doing a great job at this Olympics of explaining the point situation and explaining the pressures that are on the various sailors. We saw that a bit in the laser radials with Rindholm and Baumeister fighting it out, and then the Swedish girl sneaking through to claim silver, which we often see.
Yeah, that's exciting.
And this one today, we've got the 49ers, obviously Pete and Blair, they've got a 4-point lead. They can afford to finish directly behind either of the sailors that are right behind them on the scorecard, but they can't let anyone else in there. Yeah. So yeah, obviously you'd rather be in their position than someone else's, but it's not a big lead to go in with.
No, it's not closed shop, and there's other things that are going to play into it. There's going to be some battles for silver and bronze that are going to play into those factors, but yeah, that's the double points means that it sort of opens it up a little bit, which is good.
Yeah, it puts a bit of pressure on a different pressure on, which I think is exciting. Brownie, just looking forward, because again, I love speaking to you about the fin sailing over there. So talking about that pressure, we've got Josh sitting there in 4th place. He's 8 points behind the Spanish Cardona in bronze, who's only 2 points behind Beresic. It's still up for grabs. He only needs to he gets 4 places between him and Cardona. He can jump up at the medals, which, yeah, it's not going to be easy, but it's definitely, we've seen a lot more gaps in this racing.
Yeah, and I think being the medal race, as you said, Cam, there's nothing to lose for him. He can either finish 4th, 5th or 6th, or he can risk it, do well, win the race, and see how the chips lie. He's just got to go out there and blast it off. And as Carl just said, he's been given a chance because it's double points. As we said, nothing to lose for him really. He's there to get a medal, and I think we'll see that in this racing today.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting. I expect to see Josh really come out and nail it. So remember, everybody, 4:30 today for the 49er medal race, 5:30 for the Finns. Get yourself a cold beer or a cup of tea, whatever tickles your fancy. Sit down and watch a bit of really good racing this afternoon. We'll look forward to bringing you coverage of that tomorrow and the review, and then also the 470 medal races, where we're really expecting to see good things from our 470 boys today. Thanks again to B&G and PredictWind, and of course a shout out to Sailing Energy for the awesome photos coming out of Tokyo. We'll see you all tomorrow. Cheers, everybody.